Oh, there's so many yummy vegetarian options out there. You could try like lentil soup, veggie burgers, tofu stir fry. The possibilities are endless. Okay, let's talk about two words that can send a shiver down the spine of any small business owner: tax audit. I mean, it just sounds like a total nightmare, doesn't it? But what if it didn't have to be? What if you could actually flip the script and turn an audit into a profitable experience? Yeah, I know it sounds kind of impossible, but that's exactly what we're going to break down right now. First things first, let's get a reality check. The Canada Revenue Agency, the CRA, they're not slowing down. Actually, it's the opposite. The federal government has pumped over $1 billion into the CRA since 2016, specifically to crack down on tax evasion. So what does that mean? Well, it means they have more people, more tools, and they're looking closer than ever before. And all that extra funding and attention isn't just spread out randomly. The source material is really clear on this. The CRA has become way more aggressive in how it looks at self-employed people and small businesses. So if that's you, you got to know that you're probably on their radar. So that brings us to the big question, right? The one that probably keeps some people up at night. With the CRA beefing up its efforts, how do you even begin to handle an audit, let alone survive it? It's a really intimidating thought, and honestly, if you're feeling anxious about it, you have every right to be. And that feeling of dread? It's totally justified. It's actually rooted in a pretty harsh reality. Because when these things escalate and end up in tax court, the data shows that taxpayers are facing a serious uphill battle. Yeah, check this out. According to the source, the CRA wins the vast majority of its cases at the tax court level. That's a really sobering statistic. It just goes to show why going in with a purely defensive strategy, well, it often just doesn't work. And that's exactly why we need a completely different way to think about this. So here's where we make the pivot. This is where things get interesting. Instead of thinking about an audit as some kind of battle you have to win or lose, we're going to completely reframe it. We're going to start looking at it as an opportunity. This idea, taken straight from the source material, is a huge mental shift. The core concept here is that an audit, the very thing you're probably afraid of, can actually be the catalyst for a financial gain. I know, you're probably thinking, how is that even possible? Okay, so what is a profitable audit? Let's be clear. It's not about the CRA suddenly deciding to write you a check because you won. Nope. It's about you using the audit as a trigger, a reason to go back through your own books with a fine-tooth comb and find all the deductions, the credits, the tax provisions that you missed. You're basically turning their scrutiny into your opportunity. So, that dreaded letter from the CRA shows up in your mailbox. Your heart sinks. What do you do? Panicking is not the answer. Here is a proactive, 4-step action plan to help you take back control of the situation. Okay, step 1. Before you do anything else, you get your tax advisor on the phone. This is not negotiable. You need an expert in your corner. Step 2, you have to be honest with yourself and your advisor about any weaknesses. Is your auto log a complete mess? Just say so. Trying to hide it is only going to make things worse. Then, step 3, and this is the real game changer. You start hunting for those missed opportunities. Work with your advisor, find every single legitimate claim you might have overlooked. Did you forget to deduct some home office expenses? What about that professional development course or that new software subscription? Now's the time to find it. And finally, step 4, you bring it all together and you present a clear, solid summary of your position to the auditor. And that includes any new claims you've uncovered. This totally changes the entire conversation. Now, that 4-step plan is great for when you're already in the hot seat. But the real secret to audit success? It happens long before the CRA ever thinks about contacting you. It is all about preparation. And trust me, the price for being unprepared is incredibly high. The source brings up this case of a Winnipeg company that's just a massive cautionary tale. They were making false statements, improperly mixing expenses, and they ended up with over $1 million in unreported income. The result? It was a total financial nightmare of fines and back taxes that could have been completely avoided. So what it all comes down to is this: your ultimate defense is not needing one in the first place. Becoming a model tax filing citizen, just by filing on time and keeping amazing records, that is your most powerful shield. That one simple habit changes the entire tone of any potential conversation you might have with the CRA. See how this works? This proactive approach takes you out of a defensive crouch and puts you in a position of strength. It's not just about avoiding trouble anymore. It's about confidently and intelligently managing your financial world. It really boils down to 3 core ideas. First, Just be consistent. File on time every single year. Second, be informed. You have a legal right to arrange your finances to pay the least amount of tax possible within the rules, so you better know those rules. And third, be confident. When you do those first two things, you manage your relationship with the CRA from a position of strength, not one of fear. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Is your business just getting by? Just doing the bare minimum to be compliant? Or are your records, your systems, and your mindset truly audit ready? Because being ready isn't just about surviving an audit. It's about building a stronger, smarter, and ultimately more profitable business.